At 2:17 a.m., the room was silent, except for the low hum of an old laptop fan. A young man sat on the edge of his bed, staring at a bank balance that read $100.13. Not a typo, not a joke. That was everything he had. No safety net, no rich parents, no secret savings account. Just $100, and a question that wouldn't leave his mind. Is this enough to change my life? Outside, the city lights flickered through the window like distant promises. Luxury apartments, fast cars, lives that felt impossibly far away. Social media said investing was for people with money. Friends said, wait until you earn more. Fear whispered, you'll lose it all. But something inside him refused to sleep. What if this wasn't the end of the road, but the very beginning? What if the same system that made millionaires, quietly, patiently, could work for someone started with almost nothing? Tonight, we're not talking about theory. We're not talking about hype. We're telling the story of how $100 can become your first real step into investing, and how beginners, just like you, cross the invisible line between wishing and building wealth. The next morning, sunlight crept across the floor as the laptop opened again, this time with purpose. The first thing he realized was painful but freeing. Investing isn't about how much money you start with. It's about how you think when you start. Most beginners believe investing is about picking the right stock or finding the perfect time. But the truth is quieter and more powerful. Before placing a single dollar anywhere, he had to make one decision. This $100 would not be spent. It would be planted. That mindset shift changes everything. Because spending money gives pleasure once, but investing money gives options forever. He began where all smart investors begin, not with stocks, but with understanding. He learned that investing is simply this: putting money into assets that work while you sleep. Not gambling, not guessing, not chasing fast money. Ownership. And ownership doesn't care if you start with $100 or $100,000. It only cares if you stay consistent. But the internet was loud. Buy this crypto. Day trade that stock. Turn $100 into $10,000 in 30 days. Each promise was shiny, each one dangerous. So he asked a better question. What's the safest way to learn without destroying my future? The answer surprised him. The safest way to invest $100 is to stop trying to get rich fast. Instead, he learned about index funds, collections of hundreds of companies bundled into one investment. Instead of betting on one winner, you own the entire race. Companies rise. Some fall. But over decades, markets grow. Slow, steady, relentless. This wasn't exciting. It was powerful. He discovered that with just $100, he could buy a piece of the largest companies in the world. Companies he already used every day. That changed how money felt. This wasn't paper anymore. This was ownership. But fear still lingered. What if I lose it? So he looked at history. Every market crash looked terrifying in the moment. Every single one. But zoom out, and every crash became a small dip on a long upward line. Time was the real secret. Not intelligence. Not luck. Time. He opened a simple investing app. Nothing fancy. Nothing complicated. No leverage. No options. No shortcuts. Just a basic account. He funded it with $100. His heart raced. This wasn't just money moving. This was identity shifting. For the first time, he wasn't just a worker earning money. He was an investor building something. He didn't try to outsmart the market. He invested in a broad market index fund, a low-cost ETF, something boring enough to ignore and strong enough to last. Then came the hardest part, waiting. Days passed. The numbers moved up, then down. A few cents here, a dollar there. Nothing dramatic. And that's when the real lesson hit him. The market doesn't reward impatience. It rewards discipline. Instead of watching prices every hour, he focused on income, not future millions, future habits. He decided to add $25 every month, sometimes more, sometimes less, not because it felt exciting, but because it felt inevitable. Every paycheck became an opportunity, not a temptation. And slowly, something changed. The balance grew, not explosively, but honestly. $100 became $150. $150 became $300. Not overnight, but predictably. And predictability is what builds wealth. While others chase trends, he built structure. While others panicked during drops, he remembered the plan. This wasn't about being right. It was about staying invested. Then came the real turning point. A market dip, red numbers everywhere. Fear returned, but this time it felt different because he understood something most beginners never learn. Market drops are not threats. They're discounts. While panic filled headlines, he invested again, not because he was brave, but because he was prepared. That $100 had taught him more than money ever could. It taught patience. It taught ownership. It taught confidence. Years passed. The account didn't just grow in value. It grew in meaning. Every dollar invested became proof that he was no longer waiting for life to happen. He was participating. And here's the truth most people miss. The first $100 isn't about profit. It's about crossing a line. The line between watching others build wealth and becoming someone who does. Once you cross it, going back feels impossible. Because investing isn't just a financial skill. It's a mindset upgrade. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, does this help my future? That's how wealth really begins. Not with a big paycheck, but with a small decision made consistently. That first $100 never felt small again. Not because it turned into millions overnight, but because it changed who he was. It turned fear into focus, confusion into clarity, and waiting into action. If you're standing at the same place right now, thinking your money is too little to matter, remember this. Every investor you admire once started with their first small step. This story isn't about money. It's about choosing progress over hesitation. If this story made you think differently about your future, show it by liking this video. It helps this message reach others standing at the same starting line. Share your thoughts in the comments. What's holding you back from starting? And if you want more stories that turn complex investing ideas into simple, powerful lessons, subscribe to Value Mentor. Your future is listening. Don't keep it waiting. Wealth doesn't begin with how much you have. It begins with a decision to start.